on top of the whole system. He has created everything. Ham sarvasya prabhava, matta sarvam pravartate, everything emanates from him. And then he is individually our guide as the super soul. Because then he is expanding himself to become innumerable gurus. In everyone's heart we have that guru guide, yeah? And then when he just kind of loses his form, there is no more form, he just becomes everything, all his energy, anything, that is Brahman. So then there is no distinction anymore. Then also we are, him in that sense. In Brahman, we are all, the same, because we're all just particles of Brahman. Yeah. And all the bodies, all the bodies are there, innumerable bodies which we can have or not have. From time immemorial, we have had so many different senses. I mean, different, species of life. All of them are in Brahman. All the variation is there, but they're all now, just like a big khichdi. Right? You can call it khichdi, and then that's one dish. But in the same way, inside the khichdi you can find so many things. Sorry for the example, but I guess it's easy to understand. Inside the khichdi you can find rice, dal, but in one sense you cannot take the rice and dal out, right? Because they're all merged together, right?
Yeah.
So that's Brahman. You cannot really pick out anything without, it's just Brahman anyway. But Paramatma is really, that's really, the specific person. He gives specific instruction, which is very separate from other instruction. And Bhagavan, he's simply the goal. He's the one who is outside the whole thing. He has his own abode. And just we can take the example of the law once again. You have the judge. He's sitting in his own, court of law, and he's just one person, right? You don't have several judges. Let's just imagine, at least for now, it's just one judge, right? But there are several, policemen sent all over the country, and they're working on behalf of the judge on the law. So all these policemen, you can say they are, Paramatma. They're representing the judge in all. For each person in the whole country, there is, a policeman. He is on the case of that person. You just imagine like that. But then they're all reporting back to the judge. And if each of us, we want to one day meet the judge, then by the help of that one policeman, we can come and meet the judge one sweet day, yeah, like that. But only by contacting the policeman, because we don't know where the judge is, right? We don't know where he is. We cannot find a way, or we are not allowed to go there. But if we become friend with the policeman, we follow whatever the policeman says. We are law-abiding citizens. Then the policeman, he can take us there, and we can meet the judge. Yeah, and that judge will be, Bhagavan. Policeman is Paramatma. Yeah, and the rest of the world is just Brahman. Yeah, does it make sense?
So can Guru be called as Paramatma because he connects us with Bhagwan?
Yes, exactly. The Guru is Paramatma, actually. That's a fact. So I'll just read the verse once more, because now I finally got our YouTube connection. So Andam Tama Pravishanti Ye Sambhutim Upasate Tatu Bhuya Ivate Tamo Ya'u Sambhutiyam Rataha. Yeah. Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the Absolute. Yeah. So the thing is that demigods, they are often taken to be the rulers of this universe, isn't it so? The different devatas, they're ruling everything in this universe. However, the real ruler is actually Paramatma. He is higher, than the devatas. All the devatas are working under the Paramatma, actually. Whenever the demigods are getting into trouble, they go to the highest demigod, which is Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma, in order to help the devatas, he then goes to Shvetadvip, and he takes audience of the Paramatma there, which is, Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. He's the Lord, he's the Vishnu who lie by the ocean of the milk. This is the Vaikuntha planet within this material universe. Yeah, and then it said that that Vishnu, even Lord Brahma, he can't actually see him, but he sees him inside his heart. And inside his heart he's getting all the instructions. In other words, Śrī Īśopaniṣad Vishnu is always playing that role as Paramatma. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaya. It said in the first verse of the Bhagavatam that Lord Brahma, he got all the knowledge from inside the heart, from Vishnu, from this Śrī Īśopaniṣad Vishnu. So he is the actual ruler of all the demigods, since Lord Brahma is the topmost demigod, and all the other demigods are working under Lord Brahma. But then, without Vishnu, there will be no demigods at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why Krishna, he rightly says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Adir hi Devanam. Yeah, I'm the original Deva of all the Devas. Yeah. So today we'll speak especially about the difference between worship of the temporary and then worship of the absolute. Because we have these two words, and these two concepts will follow us now in Mantra 12, Mantra 13 and Mantra 14. Today we only have Mantra 12. Tomorrow yeah.
Prabhuji, why did Krishna create the demigods at first place?
Why did Krishna create the demigods? Well, they're created in order to support him in creating this material universe. Yeah, because the material universe, it needs administration. You have a whole system going on, and that's needs, just like you have the government here in Norway.
Yeah,
it is working like a clockwork, because you have all different people doing different tasks. There's nobody sitting idle in Norway. Everybody is doing a specific task, which has given by a higher governor, which again is working under a higher governor, again working under the higher political system, again higher, and then maybe on the top you have the prime minister, but then actually officially it's the king who is ruling, and the king is the representative of God. So needless to say, then God is actually the one who actually controls. Actually, all the laws we have in human society, originally these laws were just religious laws. They were given by God. Then they became mundanized, you can say. So now the laws can work even without believing God. Yeah. But originally you have all the laws because of obedience to God, right? That's why we have laws, because of obedience to God. Otherwise, what is the use of the law? Say if you don't work for a higher cause, then we're simply working for ourselves or for our extended self, which is our family, our country, and so on. That's also good. At least we're not completely selfish, but we are actually created by God, and there's a great mission or plan of God for each and every one of us. So he wants to have a say in our life. And as Paramatma, he's definitely giving input in that way. He's trying to lead us on the right path also. And externally he's doing that also by the guru. So we have like a spiritual code given through all these different religions. And then from the mundane point of view, we have the mundane laws, which are also helping us. So even if we don't believe in God, at least we are law-abiding. Yeah. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can read on in the purport.
Purport we have read already.
We didn't read all of it, no?
Oh, yeah.
You came to, we were on the second page of that purport, no? I don't remember.
You stop in the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, you can start reading that, yeah. You want to read...
read.
You can read, Mikaela. You have a... I can hear your voice, so that's good.
Okay. Let's see. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that only bewildered persons driven by a strong desire for sense gratification worship the demigods for the satisfaction of temporary problems. A temporary relief from a certain difficulty by the grace of some demigod is the demand of less intelligent persons. The living being is in the material entanglement, and he has to be relieved from material bondage entirely to obtain permanent relief on the spiritual plane, where eternal bliss, life, and knowledge exist. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the worshippers of the demigods can go to the planets of the respective demigods. The moon worshippers can go to the moon. The sun worshippers can go to the planet of the sun, and so on. Modern scientists are now trying to go to the moon with the help of rockets, which is not really a new attempt. The human being with his advanced consciousness is naturally inclined to travel in outer space and to reach other planets, either by Sputniks, by mystic powers, or by worshipping the particular predominating deity on that planet. In the Vedic scriptures, it is said that one can reach other planets in any of the ways mentioned above, most generally by worshipping the demigod presiding over the particular planet. But these planets are temporarily residential planets. The only permanent planets are in the Vaikunta lokas, found in the spiritual sky, where the personality of Godhead predominates. The Bhagavad Gita confirms this as follows. Even though one may rise to the highest planet, Bhagaloka.
What did you say? What did you say? What was the loka?
Brahmana Loka.
Brahma loka.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Brahmana Loka.
Very good.
One has to come back again. But if someone attends to me in the spiritual world, he doesn't have to make birth again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we hear again about Sputniks. Didn't Prabhupada speak about Sputniks a few verses ago?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a whole thing about going to the moon at that time, and Prabhupada, he didn't believe it. Yeah. Yeah, some devotees have made a big case about this. To be honest, actually it doesn't matter for bhakti per se. It doesn't matter if you went to the moon or not, just so that it's clear. You can be a devotee and believe if you went to the moon, or you can be a devotee believing we didn't go to the moon, okay? The thing is planets. So Prabhupada talks, that you can go to these planets by worshipping the particular predominating deity on that planet. Yeah. So in the Vedas, then you have that system. It's called karma kanda. We have spoken a bit about that before. That means one is following, the four Vedas specifically, and doing all kinds of rituals there. It's basically you have to be a Brahmana to do that. Born even in the Brahmana family, chant all these, Rig Vedic hymns, or other, type of Vedic hymns, and do fire sacrifices, live a pious life. And if you're lucky, next, life after this, you will be, on the moon planet. Yeah. Anybody like to go there?
No. What will we do on that planet then?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, it said you're enjoying heavenly delight. One is enjoying there. Yeah.
But I don't think that's the purpose.
No, that's not the purpose of life, no. Well, sometimes people say, that's the purpose, They say, actually, you have some religion. They say, we are here because of the original sin. Yeah, there was an original sin. I say the Christian religion say, because of Adam and Eve, they were eating on the forbidden apple of knowledge. They got knowledge. Of course, that means they got material knowledge. In that way, the dualism started. Actually, it tallies with what is written in the Bhagavatam also. Bind vitya b'universata shat. It says, all the fear or all troubles are coming from the dualities. Then everything is going, the opposite way it should. So when you know the difference between good and bad, and you know all these things, then you know you are in the world of duality, and there is problem. So in that way, Adam and Eva, they started to see, you know, who they were, and they started, and the snake was there, and it's like a whole thing. And then you know they fall down from paradise, right? And now they're on the Earth planet, and since that time, you know, we've been struggling here. Yeah, that's the story. So we have like that inherited original sin, and we have to shake it off by praying to God and become, you know, taken back to heaven. Yeah, that's the story. Well, there is no such story in you know in the Vedic point of view. There is no such story actually. We don't have any business going to heaven actually. Well, of course, there is opportunity to do that, but it's many places stated. I mean, in Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna is saying, you know, he says, you know, you can do that, you know, you can do that kind of worship. I think it's in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and then you are going up there, you know, you're doing these Vedic, you know, ritual sacrifices, and you can enter, you know, the moon and all these planets. You can enjoy there. I think he mentions the Indra Loka. Yeah? You can go to the planet of Indra. But then he says in the next verse after that, Tatam Bhargasvarkalom, he says, Kshina Punya Martirulakam Vishanti. When after we have been there for some time and enjoyed, and then again we fall down when our punya is over. So it's not an eternal residence to be on the heavenly planets. Yeah. So as Prabhupada says, you worship the moon, you go to the moon, you worship the sun, you go to the sun. Yanti Deva Vratadevan, Pitri Yanti Pitri Vrataha, Bhutirya Yanti Bhutirya, Yantumam Yajno Pimam. Yeah. Krishna says, you know, you worship the different demigods, you go to the demigods planets. You worship even, you know, the spirits, you go to the planet of the spirits. If you worship me, Krishna says, you go to my planet. Yeah. And it's only his planet that is actually eternal. Stated here, it's Sambhuta. Yeah. His planet is, you know, the eternal, indestructible place, and that's the meaning of, you know, Sambhava, or, you know, Sambhuta. Yeah, it's the eternal. Yeah, eternal existence. Bhava, you know, Bhava means existence. But then you have Asambhava. A means the negative, so that means everything that's temporary. Yeah, so a temporary place, temporary existence. That includes all the demigods. Yeah, which was mentioned here. The planets of demigods are all temporary, and they're going to be gone again pretty soon. Yeah, so in that way we may aspire to go there, but there will be some really like phantasmagoria. It's explained in Bhagavatam, for example, about Indraloka or some of these residential places they have. They go to some nice gardens, big mountains like that, and you have like mangoes as big as elephants falling down, and they're squashed down, and then because all these mangoes, you know, falling down, and there's no stone in the mango, by the way, they create mango juice. Yeah, everybody like mango juice, and they're bathing in the mango juice. Yeah, she's going down the mountain like that. It's like complete, you know, phantasmagoria. Yeah, but you know, Krishna is not there. Yeah. So in the Krishna Loka, however, it's much more in kind of, you know, one has more low-key, you know, situation as an enjoyer. One is simply a coward boy or something like that. One is Goloka Vrindavan. After all, it means Golok. It means the planet of the cows. Yeah. So you know, it said Krishna is there. He's serving the cows, and all the others are also serving Krishna by serving the cows also themselves, or, you know, arranging for Krishna's, you know, pastimes. Everybody has a role to play there, and there is no, you know, bathing in the mango juice like that. Does it make sense? It's a little bit more sober existence actually to be in Krishna's Loka. But of course, there the enjoyment is much higher because it's the rasas are there. One can serve Krishna as a friend, you know, as the parent, as the lover, as a servant. Yeah, even the neutral is also there. One can be, you know, the plants there. One can be a tree, just giving, you know. One can be a mango tree there, giving mango to Krishna, rather than enjoying bathing in the mango juice.
Even I was thinking, even that we are free to choose. That's interesting that Krishna gives the opportunity. We can choose.
Exactly.
Where we.
It's nice to have a choice, right?
Yes.
He said that we
Even
are,
if it's not the best.
yeah, we can choose what we rather want to do. Yeah.
Krishna gave a choice to Duryodhan also, but he's clever,
Yes.
He gives the choice, but he knows what is best.
Exactly. So you know the story. Krishna was lying in the bed, yeah, and in the door comes Duryodhana. And how was Arjuna still there? I don't remember. But
No, first he asked Duryodhan only, like.
Yeah, what you want. But the thing is that one was going to his feet, and that was Arjuna. He came to Krishna's feet. He stayed there when Krishna was lying in the bed. Duryodhana, he went straight to Krishna's face, right? And so he thought, I'm first. I'm higher up, So he was kind of waking up Krishna first. Yeah. So he thought, now I will have the first, say, because Krishna, he had promised, the one who comes to me first, I will give him the first choice, because Krishna said, I will help you guys. Yeah. I will help any one of the parties. Yeah. Just come to me next day in the morning. Yeah. So Duryodhana, he was first, but he went straight to his head, to his face. So and then he saw Arjuna was at the feet, so he thought, Arjuna, he's later, So this is typical for mundane people. They go to the head of the person, not humble, We are supposed to approach Krishna from the starting with the feet, and then gradually, progress in a humble way, So starting with the feet means by service, by not demanding, but actually just serving. Going to the face of the person means immediately you want to speak and demand. So he went there and he said, I want to have your army. So he got Krishna's army, and that army was super big, was millions of people, soldiers. And Arjuna said, I just want you. Yeah. I just want to have you on my team. And Duryodhana was laughing. He thought, Arjuna is not very smart. He's just sentimental. I got to know, now our army is millions of people more, and he just got one person. But he didn't know, that Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Danurdana, Yatra Shivira Yobutir. Wherever it's Krishna and Arjuna, there will be the victory. That Duryodhana, he didn't know. Yeah.
So did he create the demigods to create an illusion, like, okay,
exactly.
On this planet, people will think, I will go to the moon, I will go to the sun, and all that.
The demigods are giving quick, results. Yeah. Said about Lord Shiva, also people worship Lord Shiva. He's an incarnation of Krishna. He's most merciful. Shiva is the most nice person you can think of. He just gives, but he's Asutosha, He's quickly satisfied, but he's also quickly angered.
Yeah.
He also become quickly angry, just like Durga Devi also. She also, like Mother Maya, She happy with us when we're doing the right thing. When we if you are stupid, if you are rascal, then she punishes us very, very strictly also, So Krishna is not like that.
Krishna punish us?
Krishna is not like that. I'll try and explain. Krishna is like that. We come to him. He doesn't give us much. You see, devotees usually when they come to Krishna consciousness, they are poor. They become more poor. Yeah. He take away. He's known as Hari. So that's why many.
So he takes away everything. So that's what will a person demand?
That's why many people they are wary about coming close to Krishna, because they know. I worked up my whole life to get nice economic situation here, and now I'm going to become Bhakta of Krishna. It's going to be No, it's not necessarily like that. But the point is that Krishna, he will take away whatever is an obstacle to our bhakti. Because he is only concerned about bhakti. That's the difference. The demigods, per law, they have to give you what you desire from, technical point of view. If you work hard, you do tapasya, for example, you do the yagyas, then they are obliged to give you a result. It becomes something like vendor machine. You put in 10 kroner, you will get the drink, or maybe now you have to pay 50. I don't know. But it's not like that with Krishna. You can be a devotee for 100 years, and Krishna may choose to not give you much. Yeah, because it's all about his sweet will. He only wants to see that we don't have any other interest. We don't have interest to enjoy this asambhutim, this temporary destructible place. So in that way, he's working with us very therapeutically. Yeah, we treat it very nicely so that we become healthy materially healthy and also spiritually healthy. So materially we'll be more sober. Yeah, not so much of this Rajagun. Rajagun is what drives us here in the material world. We always want to have more. We want to develop more. Now Krishna is actually trying to stop that, and he wants us to be more sober and wise. So that is Sattva Gun. Yeah, only by Shuddha Sattva we can go back to Krishna. So that will be a completely different take on life than this material acquisition and development. So those who are strong and brave, they will go to Krishna. Yeah, that's called Shreyas, and those who are after temporary happiness here and now, they go to that, and that's called Preyas. So that's why it's said here very strongly in today's verse. I'll just go back. You can see what the verse said. So it said, those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance. So that's gradually where one is entering. When one goes that route, it may seem very good in the beginning. Worship Shiva, worship, Devi, worship, Lord Brahma or other demigods, and you're getting, material goods. But then, the consciousness is wrong. Krishna says, that in Bhagavad Gita, he says, this type of consciousness, worship Yetu Pianya Devata, he says, I give them the Shraddha, I give them the faith by which to do that. But he says, he says, Archita Mam Avidipurvakam, he says, they're worshipping actually me, indirectly, by worshipping the demigods. But they do it without knowledge. They do it without the highest knowledge. One could worship Krishna directly instead of worshipping the gods. In that way, one could please Krishna directly. I'll give a nice story about that, actually. How demigod worship is actually just Krishna's plan for getting us back to him. I can give that story after we read the whole thing. So we can read on. Where did we stop? Yeah, we'll read from Śrī Īśopaniṣad. You like to read Meena Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Śrī Īśopaniṣad suggests that one remains in the darkest region by hovering over the material planets, whatever this means may be. The whole universe is covered by the gigantic material elements, such like a coconut ball half filled with water. As it is airtight and fully covered, the darkness within is dense, and therefore planets like the sun and the moon are required to illuminate the inside of the universe. Outside the universe, there is a vast expansion of unlimited Brahma Jyoti space full of Vaikuntha Lokas. The biggest and the highest planet in the Brahma Jyoti is the Krishna Loka, or Goloka Vrindavan, where the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna resides. Lord Shri Krishna never quits this Krishna Loka where he dwells with his eternal associates, and yet he is omnipresent throughout the complete material and spiritual cosmic situation. This fact has already been explained in Mantra 4 of Śrī Īśopaniṣad. The Lord is present everywhere as the sun is. A man can move through space with the highest possible speed, and still he will find that the sun is there, although the sun is situated in its own undeviating orbit. The problem of life cannot be solved by going to the moon. There are many pseudo-worshippers who become religionists for the sake of name and fame only. Such pseudo-religionists do not wish to get out of this universe and reach the spiritual sky. They want only to maintain the status quo in the material world under the guard of worshipping the Lord. And the atheists and the impersonalists lead such foolish pseudo-religionists into the darkest region by preaching the cult of atheism. The atheist directly denies the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the impersonalist supports the atheist by preaching the impersonal existence of the Supreme Lord. As far as we have gone through Śrī Īśopaniṣad, we have not come across any mantra where the personality of Godhead is denied. It is said that he can run faster than anyone. Those who are running after the planets are certainly persons, and if the Lord can run faster than all of them, why should he be considered impersonal? The impersonal conception of the Supreme Lord is another phase of ignorance, due to an imperfect vision of the absolute truth.
Yeah. So could we digest all that we read here? Any comments or questions on that? Does it make sense? Let's see, what did we read? Yeah, so the atheists, they deny the existence. And then you have the impersonalists. They are kind of atheists, you can say. Because they preach, that actually the Supreme Krishna, he doesn't actually exist. He's just part of Brahman. Yep. They say that Krishna is created by Maya. Yep. By the material illusion. Yeah. And then Prabhupada also says here that the Lord is present everywhere as the sun also. A man can move through space with the highest possible speed and still he will find that the sun is there, although the sun is situated in its own undeviating orbit. Yeah. So in that way, the sun is everywhere, right? Can we accept this concept? The sun is everywhere, but is the sun actually moving? Well, yeah, it's going in the orbit, yeah. But you can say its rays are making sure it's everywhere present. So by its energy, it's everywhere. But in the same way, you can say the sun is not everywhere as a physical, ball, right? So in the same way, Krishna is everywhere by his energy, but he's in Goloka Vrindavan always. Goloka eva nivashati. Aklatma Bhuta. He's spreading out all of his energies are spreading out from that platform, from that seat he has. It's explained that the sun god, why is the sun god shining? Why do you think? Why is the sun shining?
To create, to remove the darkness from the planet.
Exactly. So, but what is this shine of the sun? Where does the sun get its shining from?
It's the energy which actually, from the Brahman, I don't know.
Yeah, it's said that this sunshine is actually reflecting. It's a reflection from the Brahma Jyoti. Yeah. And what is the Brahma Jyoti? It's the effulgence which comes out from the spiritual, platform. From the spiritual realm, you have Vaikuntha Loka, you have, you have Goloka Vrindavan. So they are eminent, it's all light. So that light is coming, through to the material world. And the sun god, is just reflecting that light. So that's why the sun god is shining. That's the explanation given. Yeah. So in the spiritual planet, you don't need to have any sun because, it's all effulgence of Krishna is lightening up the whole place. Actually, all of the people there are self-illuminated. Yeah. But here we're not self-illuminated. We require illumination from that one person, the sun god. But he's getting his illumination from Krishna. Yeah.
But I don't now understand one thing, like, when we come to this planet, we also have like astrology, like we have 9 planets ruling us,
Yeah.
So it becomes even more complicated. Like, even if we don't want to go back, but they are a part of us, Sun is a part of us, Moon, all the planets. The Navgraha.
Can you take it one more time? What was the question there? I didn't get it, sorry.
No, the question is actually like, Krishna created this illusion like with all the demigods, and we are kind of trapped in this.
Yeah.
Because our existence is based on the position of these planets,
Well, in one sense, our existence, well, you can say indirectly it's based on the planets. The Navagrahas, they are, dishing out our karma. And as they're moving, our karma is progressing. It's our previous karma they're dishing out, karma created in the past. That's why you can make a prediction about that. However, we're creating also new karma. That may not be so easy to predict. But they are persons, so in that way they're also changing their view about us. So in that way, if we are changing, they can also be more favorable to us, or they can also be more inimical to us. But their presence in our lives, it can be more or less, and that can be seen according to the astrology. Yeah, that sometimes they are closer, sometimes they are right above our head and beaming a huge beam of energy. In that way, we are influenced at certain times more. But if we have a good relationship with the planets, then it will be a good thing. If the relationship is bad, it will be a bad thing. Yeah, just like say you have a family member. That family member is now going to visit you for 1 week. It could be a good visit, or it could be a bad visit, right? It could be a good visit if you work hard to try and have the good relationship. It could be a bad visit if we didn't do so well in that. It's according to our effort also. So in the same way, the astrology is telling that now this planet is now going to have a strong influence for a certain time. But it may not be so bad if we actually work very hard to be saintly devotees of Krishna, because they're all favorable to the devotees of Krishna, because they themselves are devotees. Yeah. So in that way, it's said that the best thing to do is just to be as good devotee as possible. In that way, actually, we may be saved from the great onslaughts of these, luminaries controlling us, because Krishna is saying that I'm protecting my devotees. So the prospect may have been very bad, but if we actually work hard with our devotion, it may be we still may survive. Yeah, because Krishna is above all these things. Yeah. So by practicing spiritual life, bhakti yoga, we can have some experience that actually we may have it's like in the play of cards, you're just getting a hand. It may be a bad hand, it may be a good hand. Whatever hand we have, we just have to play with that. But Krishna is giving some extra help. So we still may have a very, very good life. Because we are spiritually connected to Krishna, we can use everything, for the spiritual life. So everything can be used as stepping stone towards Krishna. Yeah. Did I give that example before? Of the donkey. The donkey was old and blind, and he fell down into the ditch. And the old farmer, owner of the donkey, he just started shoveling down the whole pile of earth which was there to fill up the well. So he shoveled all the dirt in the face of the old donkey. But the donkey just jumped aside for each time, stepped aside, and then when the farmer was finished filling up the whole well, he thought now he also killed the donkey, got rid of him. Useless old donkey. But actually the donkey was then looking right in his face, because it had used all the dirt shoveled in its face as a stepping stone for success, for being liberated. So no matter how all donkeys. Yeah, in that sense, yes. So no matter how bad our karma is, we can be smart and use that as stepping stone to be liberated, and we can still be happy. Yeah. And that's so many, accounts of that for devotees. Because bhakti is completely independent on, the three gunas and the karma. Yeah. Okay, so you like to read on?
In the scriptures, there is recommendation. No, where was I?
Is that correct? Yeah, you can read that. Or was it? No, it was the one above.
And
so the ignorance.
Oh yeah, and so the ignorant pseudo-religionists, the manufacturers, and so-called incarnations, directly violating the Vedic injunctions, are liable to enter into the darkest region of the universe on account of their business of misleading those who follow them. These impersonalists generally pose themselves as incarnations of God to the foolish who have no knowledge of the Vedic wisdom. And if such foolish men have any knowledge at all, it is more dangerous in their hands than ignorance itself. Such impersonalists do not even worship the demigods as is recommended in the scriptures. In the scriptures, there is a recommendation for worshipping the demigods under different circumstances, but all the same time, it is said that there is no real need for this. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that the results of worshipping the demigods are not permanent. The whole material world is not permanent, and therefore anything achieved here within the darkness of material existence is also impermanent. The problem then is how to obtain real and permanent life. The Lord states that as soon as one reaches Him by devotional service, which is the one and only way to approach the personality of Godhead, there is complete freedom from the bondage of birth and death. In other words, the path of salvation or getting out of the material clutches fully depends on the principles of knowledge and detachment. And the pseudo-religionists have neither knowledge nor detachment from material affairs. Most of them want to continue in the golden shackles of material bondage, under the shadow of altruistic and philanthropic activities, and in the name of religion principles. By false religious sentiments, they present a make-show of devotional service, indulging in all sorts of immoral principles, and still pass as spiritual masters and devotees of God. Such violators of religion principles have no respect for the authoritative acharyas, the holy teachers in the strict disciplic succession, and to mislead the people in general, they themselves become so-called acharyas without even following the principles of the acharyas. Those rogues in human society are the most dangerous elements, and for want of religious movement, they pass on without being punished by the law of the state. They cannot, however, avoid the law of the Supreme, who has clearly declared in the Bhagavad Gita that those envious demons in the garb of religious propagandists shall be thrown into the darkest region of hell. It is confirmed in Śrī Īśopaniṣad that pseudo-religionists are heading toward the most obnoxious places of the universe after finishing with the spiritual mastership business, which is simply the matter of sense gratification.
Yes. Yeah. So let's see. That was now we finished this section. Yeah. Yeah. So. So we had like these opposites today between worship of demigods and worship of the absolute. Well, here actually the absolute is because here we get kind of the same thing which we had when it was talk about avidya and vidya. It said the so-called worshippers or the so-called people who use knowledge, who go to use knowledge, but in the wrong way, they're more dangerous than the people who are just ignorant. And so here also it said that it's worship, even to worship so-called God, or do so-called spiritual life, but not actually doing according to to Bhagavan's will. Yeah. Because
but
then,
Krishna is also the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So why don't we worship Lord Vishnu directly?
We do. We worship Lord Vishnu.
So, but Krishna is supposed to be the incarnation of Lord Vishnu.
Well, he's actually Swayam Bhagavan. That's said in the scriptures that actually he is the source of all the incarnations. Because this Goloka Vrindavan is higher Loka than Vishnu Loka.
Okay, yeah. It's higher. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why you have the whole Brahma Samhita saying that, Vishnur Mahan Saya Yasya Kala Vishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. For example, it says there in one of the verses, Vishnur Mahan Saya Yasya Kala Vishesho. So this Mahavishnu, he's just one of his parts of Govinda actually. Now the story, how is Govinda, gradually, he's expanding himself. And he's coming into the material universe as Vishnu in that expansion. So there is a whole there's a whole progression there. It's quite technical. We'll not get into that, but Krishna is the original, source of everything. Yeah. He is facilitating that 1/4 of his spiritual creation has, a place where Lord Vishnu, as Mahavishnu, he's lying down and he's breathing out, the material universes. And inside each material universe is entering another Vishnu, which from his navel is coming Lord Brahma. All the species, all the jivas are entering into all these living entities, innumerable are created. And then again he enters into each of these living entities' heart as the Paramatma. So there are 3 Vishnu incarnations, successive, one after another, happening. But you have 3/4 of the creation are still spiritual. And there you have, the Vaikuntha planets where the devotees are worshipping, the Lord in his 4-handed form in awe and reverence. Higher than that is the Dwarka and Mathura Dhamma, where Krishna is worshipped with Aishwarya, awe and reverence. Aishwarya is also there in Vaikuntha Loka. There's a lot of respect and distance. And the servitorship is the rasa there. However, in Goloka Vrindavan, then, the rasas are going higher and become more intimate. The devotees are treating Krishna as his friend and even as his parent or lover. That's why this form of Krishna is higher. Yeah, just like you can take the example of the president. Officially, the president is in his president, uniform, and everybody has a very much respect. However, the higher level of president is actually when he is himself in his own home with his friends and family. Yeah, that's a higher relationship. That makes sense, no? One has a more intimate relationship with president, in the personal level where there is not all these high concepts. Yeah. So that's the same with Krishna. He favors that when his devotees are on this level, even not remembering his opulence, they don't even remember that he is Lord. So then this Aishwarya aspect is falling off. Aishwarya means opulences. So you have Shad Aishwarya Purna. The Lord is full in 6 opulences. Most beautiful, most rich, most renounced, most, wise, and so on. Yeah, unlimited opulences he has. These are all forgotten, or they are downplayed. You can say they don't play the main role in the relationship. Now, I want to give the example how demigod worship is working, because it's given by Krishna. I'll put up a new see here. Put a new notepad here. I can show this. Yeah, see if I can get it correctly. Something. Oh yeah, I'll need to do this. Yeah. Just give me 1 second. Just need to scale this down. Yeah, so I'll write this here so you can see the concept. How Krishna has given the concept called demigod worship. It's actually a concept to get us home. And I'll give the example of a story. Let's see, I'll just ask you, can you see this on YouTube now? I've written some text there. You can see that?
Perhaps takes a little time to see it. Yeah.
So I'll tell the story, and then I will write as I go along. So you have this story about you have a king, and you have the son of the king. Yeah. And so the son of the king, he became, his relationship with the king was crashing. He got some inimical, some or other, he didn't want to be in the kingdom anymore. So he just left his father, and he went outside, and he just started to work for some other landlord. Yeah. So then he's working for somebody else, and then the father, he has a feeling for his son. He's worried about his son because with the other landlord, he's not treating. He's not treated properly. He's a prince, you know. He deserves something higher, right? He could have enjoyed nicely with his father in the kingdom, but because of clashing, because of emotions, you know, he didn't want to be with his father anymore. So now he has a worse situation, right? And so the king, he tries to help him. And so what the king is doing, he's sending out his minister. Yeah, he's sending out his minister. And the minister, he just, you know, so that is like the demigods. Yeah, demigods are ministers of God, yeah. So he gives him a job. The minister comes to that prince and says, you know what, I can give you, I can give you a job. And you will get better pay, you know, than if you just work for you know, your landlord. I will pay you better, yeah. So in that way, you know, he was working then under you know, the minister of the king, because he was paying him better and treating him better. So in the same way, when we don't have any gods, we're just completely materialistic, then we are, you know, not really having the best time. We could have a better, you know, situation if we worship the demigods, right? The demigods will make you better life. They will reward you better. You can go to heavenly planets, right? It's better. Yeah. But still the motive, you know, is wealth. He was working for the landlord. His motive was wealth. And but since he is now worshiping demigod, it's called karma kanda. I mentioned karma kanda before, yeah. It's now inside. It's inside the Vedic, you know, system. Yeah. So that's important to remember. That, you know, so now we kind of back into the jurisdiction of the kingdom. When we're not having anything to do with anything Vedic, nothing, you know, nothing religious at all, not even worshipping them. We're pretty much on our own. We're suffering the most. Yep. So in that way, king was happy now that he sent his minister, kind of tricked him into at least, you know, serving the minister. But now the king is having, you know, a greater plan even. So he is getting the idea that through the minister, he will kind of let his son know that actually the minister is actually working for the king. Yeah. And that actually the king, he has some job offer which is paying even better. Yeah. If you work directly for the king, you will pay even better. So, you know, the son, he didn't want to have anything to do with the king. He was just leaving to work for himself. But now he started working for the minister of the king, and then, you know, through the minister of the king, you understand actually if he works directly for the king, he will even get paid better. But still he wants to keep distance, right? He still want to keep distance. So, but now the motive is, yeah, the motive is still wealth. Yeah. So in the same way, we may come, you know, from worshipping demigods, we may come to worship, you know, Vishnu or Krishna, because we can understand actually it's better. But still we want to have our wealth, right? We can be a devotee of Krishna, do we all agree? We can be a devotee of Krishna and still want to have your wealth, right? You still want to enjoy here in the material world, but you can be a devotee of Krishna. Is it true?
Yeah, can be.
Could be, right? Not for you, of course. Not because
it takes away everything.
Huh? Yeah. I know this is like it's completely, you know, ridiculous, you know, idea. But you know, for some people that is called sakama. Yeah, we still have desires. We still want to enjoy a little bit here. Yeah, but we are bhaktas. We are doing bhakti. We're doing bhakti, but still we want to enjoy a little bit.
Yeah, but if we are enjoying while doing bhakti, what is more to enjoy? Like we are having good food, nice place to stay. What?
Yeah, the point is that you know, we are still motivated, that we want to have this. Some devotees even, you know, if Krishna takes away in his feature as Hari, sometimes devotees, they become so disgusted or disturbed that they leave the whole bhakti, right? You heard? Sometimes devotees, material life is not going so good sometimes for devotees, and they just pack up the whole bhakti yoga, yeah? They say, you know, this was too much. I'm not treated properly, right? I'm out of here, right? So that
In
means,
fact, when we have nothing, then it is better to do bhakti, then we will get at least prasadam.
yeah, that's true. But the thing is that on the highest level, one is not interested in enjoying any of the results of bhakti. Yeah, bhakti is given the results. By doing bhakti, said you can get fame, you can get wealth, you can get good position in society. These are all side results of bhakti. One can be attached to that, but that is said these are weeds. Which may take energy from the bhakti lata beach. From the main plant is just the plant of bhakti, supposed to take us up to the higher abode. These weeds are also taking energy, and we should weed them out. Otherwise, they can obstruct. So these weeds is desire for fame, desire for enjoyment, desire for position. So that's called Sakama Bhakti. If we're after this, we want to have that. But now we may get that. Like the son, he was working now for the king, like maybe really distant, but some or other. He now got even more wealth, so we'll be in a better position still. For the time being, being a devotee of Krishna is a better prospect, than worshipping demigods, but still we may want to enjoy. But then, what is happening then when the son is now working for the king again, and then he starts actually seeing the king sometimes, and he learns that actually the king is a really nice person. His father is actually really nice, and he was mistaken about his father. When he left the father, he maybe had some wrong idea. Or he may find it was actually himself who was wrong. It was not the father, right? Isn't it like in our relationship with our father and mother? Sometimes as a child we were angry on our father and mother, but now that we're grown up, we understood, actually our father and mother was right, and we were wrong, right? Is it true or not?
Yes.
So in the same way,
it's not true.
It's not true.
My mother was not right, and she's not right now also.
Okay. It may take some time, but actually, in the end of life, we should be grateful to our mother and father because, they gave us.
I'm not saying one is not grateful, but right and wrong we understand now. I'm 50 now, so I understand.
We're not talking about, we're talking. I'm giving some examples. Say you were a child, and the mother and father said, please go to school, stop playing. Yeah. And as a child, we thought, no, we think, our mother is bad. But, the mother is not bad. She actually wants to help, but we are misunderstanding. Yeah. This is humility. When we really become advanced devotees, we will actually thank our mother and father. No matter how bad we thought they were, we actually understood, that actually this is all arranged by Lord for our betterment. Yeah. So anyway.
Prabhuji, I want to ask you, it has been more than how many years? Is it 15 years for you or 20 years?
25, yeah.
25.
Yeah.
So, did you have some times where you thought this is not for me, I want to give up everything?
Yeah, so many times. It's the mind, the mind is flickering, It's like a pendulum. Yeah. Sometimes you think, oh, this is super, I'm so happy I did this. Then all the time, why did I choose this? I should never, this is the mind is like that. But if we have good intelligence, we will not be just swayed by the mind too much. Mind basically is accepting and rejecting. But the mind which is materialistic, it accepts and rejects according to our enjoyment.
Yeah.
So say if we just had Gora Purnim, I mean we're celebrating it on the Sunday in our temple there. But I mean on the specific date we are fasting actually. That's part of Gora Purnim.
Okay.
Prince says, Lord, you're fasting, and you only eat, at the time he appears. Yeah. So we were fasting a little bit yesterday, and sometimes it's painful to fast, right? And you think, why am I doing this? But it's part of doing the worship. So in the same way, it may feel, sometimes a little painful to do these duties in the spiritual life. And one may feel like giving up, but that would be on the platform of materialism, it's just about enjoyment. But on a high level, it's out of love we may do tapasya or some austerities. So to get back to the story, then he was still serving under the king, but now he started seeing the king sometimes, and actually he started liking the king. He started liking his father again. So the plan of the father worked. So in the same way, we are starting, maybe with Krishna consciousness just to get rid of trouble, or we want to have some better situation. But gradually, we start actually liking Krishna as a person. And then it will change into, we're not working for wealth, but we're working for love. So in the end of this lovely story, then the son of the king, he said to the king, actually, you don't need to pay me anymore. I'm back in the kingdom. And the king said, so nice, I have your room. Your old room is still there. We kept it for you. Just move back to your old room, and you don't need to work for payment. I will just give you whatever you need. It's a loving relationship. So in the same way, on that level, we are not after being rewarded by Krishna. He may give or not give, it doesn't matter. It's out of love. So that's called Shuddha Bhakti. Yeah? You see the progression here? When he worked for the other landlord outside the kingdom, he was like a so-called god. Yeah? Like you have so many big leaders, they can be called gurus or big leaders. But they're not actually, they're taking advantage maybe, they're not so nicely behaving or taking care of their subjects. The motive is wealth, but it's materialism. It's the lowest level. Next level, minister of the king he's working for. So that's the demigods, and still he wants to have wealth, and he's getting the wealth, and that's karma kanda.
Yeah.
Next level is now working actually for the king, which is Krishna, but then still the motive is materialistic. It may be wealth, it may be health, it may be, anything, career, whatever. But still, it's material. And it's called Sakama Bhakti. It's Bhakti with desires. Kama means desires, yeah? Sa means with. Now, on the highest level, still working for the king. It's the same as working for Krishna, but now there is no material motive anymore. It's just out of love. So that is called Shuddha Bhakti. And it's done actually on the spontaneous platform now, because even it said on that level, the love is so strong. Oh, did I lose the... Yeah. There is no demand even from the king that, the son has to, work from 9 to 5. Because the king, he just know that my son loves me. My son will work whenever he wants. He can do work. And the son also just like to help out the king with whatever the king needs. The son will just naturally do because out of love. Yeah. So this is a nice bond. And this is now, how it's supposed to be in the spiritual world. Spontaneous love. Not demanded. Not working out of fear. Not working out of obligation. Just out of natural love. Yeah. So any further questions or comments? So actually we can go back to the original verse again and look, because it's a little bit subtle, you can say, today's topic. If you look again on this mantra 12, let's see, it was said there. Yeah, just move this to the side. It says, those who are engaged in the worship of demigods, they enter into the darkest region of ignorance. And still more so do the worshippers of the Absolute. So here, Prabhupada has talked about the worship of the Absolute also in that way that they may be impersonalists. They just worship the Absolute just as Brahman, and they just want to become one with Brahman. But of course, as we will learn in the next verse, if you worship the Absolute properly, as one would worship Krishna, then you're not going, of course, down in the dark. Then one is going to the light. Yeah. But if one is, you can say, a pseudo-religionist, one is seemingly worshipping, the Absolute, one may even seemingly worship Krishna. But if that is done out from some material motive, and it's really only that, then one may really, go into the darkness. And one will definitely not go to Goloka Vrindavan. Yeah. So one can use, religion for so many other things, as you have seen in the world. It may be used even, to have the wars, to try to take over the world, right? But so seemingly in the service of God. Does it make sense that it can be misused?
Yeah, most of the wars are religious.
Is it really true? I'm not so sure about that actually, because I heard one person try to find out of that. He did some statistics. He found that most of the wars are not religious, because you have like the communist war, right? That was Russia. It was not religious, right? It was communism. And Hitler, was he for God? No, it was also not religious.
No.
But of course,
it is power and land and
those who are atheists, they always try to say that religion is the cause of all the wars, but it's not true.